The stars were quiet above the distant colony world of Verelion. Cities once filled with life now stood dark and broken. Fires burned in the streets. The people of Verelion had sent a signal, one last message into the galaxy. They asked for help. They cried out for angels. What they got was silence. In the capital, a woman stood on a tall tower. Her name was Queen Mara. She was young, strong, and known for her calm heart. But even she was afraid now. Her people were dying. Her soldiers were outnumbered. She looked to the sky every night, hoping someone would answer their call. That signal reached Earth. It passed through old satellites and found its way to a quiet base hidden deep under ice. The base had no name. Most people on Earth had forgotten it even existed, but one man inside had not forgotten. His name was Ethan Cole. He had once led Earth's best soldiers in battles across the stars. He had put down his weapons long ago. But when he read the message, something inside him woke up again. Ethan stood in silence. He looked at the signal again. It was short. A voice full of fear. A world asking for help. Not from soldiers, not from machines, but from angels. He closed the screen and turned to the dark hallway behind him. "We're not angels," he said, "but we'll go." He sent messages to people who once served with him. He called in every favor he had left. One by one they answered. They did not ask for pay. They did not ask why. They only asked where. Lily Hart was the first to arrive. She stepped off the ship wearing black armor and a quiet look. She had once ended wars before they began. Now she stood ready once more. Next came Marcus Hale, a soldier who had grown up in war zones. His hands were rough, his voice low, but his aim never missed. With him was Dana Brooks, silent and watchful. She had eyes like a hawk and could shoot a target from a mile away. Elijah Quinn came from the cities where every street had been a battlefield. He walked with a scar on his face and a smile that never reached his eyes. Then came Natalie Rhodes, the youngest of them all, who could break machines and buildings with just a few tools and wires. Together they stood before Ethan Cole, waiting. "I'm not sending you to fight for Earth," he told them. "I'm sending you to fight for people who believe we are more than just soldiers." He showed them the map. He showed them the colony. He showed them the faces of children hiding in the ruins. He showed them the face of Queen Mara, still standing while her world burned. They did not speak much. They simply got ready. The ship that would carry them had once been buried beneath a forgotten city. Now it rose through the ground, its engines glowing. It was old, but strong. They named it Vanguard Horizon. As it lifted into the sky, the people of Earth watched. Some remembered the stories, some had only heard rumors. But all of them knew one thing. Earth was not sending angels. Earth was sending warriors. This time, they would not be late. The Vanguard Horizon moved through space like a silent storm. Inside the ship, the team prepared for the war ahead. They did not laugh or talk much. Each one knew what waited for them on Verelion. They had all seen war before. But this time, it felt different. Lily Hart stood in the command room, her eyes on the glowing screen. She studied the map of the colony. Red lights marked enemy camps. Blue lights showed the few places still under control. Most of the planet had already fallen. But one city still stood, the capital. That was where Queen Mara held the line. Ethan Cole entered the room. His face was tired but sharp. He had not worn a uniform in years, but now he wore it like armor. He walked to Lily and spoke. "We land in 6 hours. Are they ready?" Lily nodded. They were born ready. In the lower decks, Marcus checked his weapons. He cleaned each part by hand. He had done this 1,000 times before. Beside him, Dana Brooks loaded her sniper rifle. She did not speak. She did not need to. They understood each other without words. Elijah sat on a crate, putting on his heavy boots. His armor was scratched and old but strong. He looked at Natalie, who worked fast on a small device. "What's that?" he asked. "Gift for the enemy," she said with a grin. The ship shook as it neared the colony. Outside the windows, Verelion came into view. Smoke rose from its cities. Fires lit the sky. The team stared in silence. It was worse than they had expected. Ethan spoke to them over the comms. They asked for angels. "We are not angels, but we will not fail." The ship dropped lower. Heat shields burned red. Wind roared past the hull. They flew into the storm. Dropships opened their doors. The team stood ready inside, armor shining under red lights. Their eyes were cold, their hearts were steady. The first ship hit the ground, the ramp dropped. Lily stepped out first, rifle raised. Her boots touched the dirt of a broken world. Behind her came the others. Earth had arrived, and it had brought war. The streets of Verelion were full of smoke and ash. Buildings stood half broken. Fires burned in the windows. People hid behind walls, afraid to move. Then they heard a new sound. It was not the sound of fear. It was the sound of dropships landing. Lily Hart moved through the ruined streets with her rifle raised. Her team followed close behind. Each step they took was calm and steady. They did not run. They did not shout. They knew what they were doing. From behind a wall, a small group of people watched them. They looked weak and tired. One young boy stepped forward. "Are you angels?" he asked. Lily looked at him for a second. "No," she said. "We are from Earth." The boy did not understand. But the way she spoke made him feel safe. Marcus Hale took position near a broken wall. He scanned the area and gave a small nod. The team moved ahead. Dana climbed to the top of a building and took out her sniper rifle. She began to clear the path with perfect aim, one shot at a time. Elijah and Natalie moved fast through the side streets. They set traps and blocked enemy paths. Natalie planted charges on the ground and smiled. "Now we make some noise," she said. Queen Mara stood inside the palace ruins. Her guards were few and tired. She looked out the window and saw the Earth Warriors for the first time. They moved with power and purpose, not like angels, like something older and stronger. She walked outside, even with danger close. Her dress was torn, her hands were dirty, but she still walked like a queen. Lily saw her and lowered her weapon. They stood face to face. "You sent the signal," Lily said. "I did," Queen Mara answered. "I asked for help. I thought no one would come." "You asked for angels," Lily said. "But Earth does not send angels. We send warriors." Behind them, the sound of battle grew louder. But in that moment, something changed. The people of Verelion saw hope in the way the Earth Warriors stood. The warriors had come, and they were ready to fight. Queen Mara walked through the broken streets beside Lily Hart. Dust filled the air, but people came out of hiding. They saw the warriors from Earth. They saw the strong armor, the calm eyes, and the way they moved without fear. For the first time in weeks, the people felt something new. It was not safety. Mara stood. Mara stood in front of a crowd. Her voice was tired but steady. "Stand up," she said. "This is not the end. Earth has answered us. We are not alone." The people looked at the warriors. Arcus stood with his heavy weapon in hand. Dana stood high on a roof, watching everything. Elijah helped carry a wounded child to safety. Natalie gave out food and water with a quiet smile. Slowly, the people began to stand. Some picked up tools. Others found old rifles. They had not held weapons in years. But now they wanted to fight. Inside the palace ruins, Ethan Cole met with Queen Mara and the other leaders. "We will lead the fight," Ethan said. "But we need your people to help us hold the ground." "They are scared," Mara said. "They are not trained." "They will learn," Ethan said. "We all did once." Training began the next morning. Lily showed the people how to move and shoot. Marcus taught them how to build cover. Dana trained young scouts to watch from high points. Elijah showed them how to fight close and fast. Natalie taught them how to set traps and control the field. The city began to change. Walls were rebuilt. Safe zones were marked. Fighters stood at every street. People worked day and night, ready for the next wave. One evening, Queen Mara stood on the wall beside Lily. "I never thought I would see this," she said. "You gave them something to believe in," Lily answered. "No," Mara said. "You did." Lily said nothing. She looked over the city. Fires still burned in the distance. But now there were also lights in the windows. There were voices in the streets. Life had not returned. But it was trying. The Earth Warriors had not come to save the people. They had come to show them how to fight. The people were ready. The sky turned red as enemy ships entered the airspace above Verelion. Their engines roared loud across the sky. People looked up and felt fear rise again. But this time, they did not run. They went to their posts. They picked up their weapons. They waited. Inside the command room, Ethan Cole watched the radar. His voice was calm. They are coming in large numbers. This will not be easy. Lily Hart stood beside him. We will hold the city. We have to. Outside, the warriors moved into position. Marcus took charge of the outer wall. He placed heavy guns and set up defense lines. Dana climbed to the tallest tower with her sniper rifle. Her job was to stop any fast attacks. Elijah and Natalie went to the lower streets where the enemy might try to break through. The enemy ships opened fire. The ground shook as buildings fell. Dust filled the air, but the defense lines held. The Earth warriors moved without fear. People of Verelion followed their lead. Queen Mara stayed in the city. She refused to leave. She walked with her people. Her presence gave them strength. She carried a weapon now. She was not just a queen. She was a fighter. Elijah and Natalie worked fast, used the traps they had built. Explosions stopped enemy troops from moving forward. Elijah fought with his hands when needed. Natalie planted more charges as the battle went on. Dana picked off targets from the rooftops. She did not miss. Each shot made space for others to move. On the wall, Marcus stood like a giant. His gun roared and lit up the night. Inside the command room, Ethan gave orders with care. He moved pieces on the map. He sent reinforcements to weak spots. He knew this battle was not just about power. It was about timing and trust. Lily led a group into the thick of the fight. Her armor was scratched, her face marked with dust, but she kept moving forward. She cleared the streets with her team, one step at a time. This was no longer just a fight for Verelion. This was a message. The enemy would not take this world, not while Earth's warriors still stood. The battle had begun, and they would not fall. The enemy leader arrived in a black ship that landed in the center of the battlefield. He wore heavy armor and walked like he feared nothing. His men followed him, loud and full of pride. They believed the fight was over. They believed Verelion would fall that day. But the warriors from Earth were still standing. Ethan Cole stepped out of the command center. He wore his old gear now. His voice was quiet, but his eyes were sharp. He had seen too many battles to feel fear. He looked at the enemy leader from a distance. Then he gave one order. End this. Lily Hart led the charge with the city fighters behind her. The ground shook as the two sides ran toward each other. Smoke filled the air. Gunfire lit up the streets. The final battle had begun. Marcus was the first to break the enemy line. His gun fired in short, hard bursts. His armor was dented, but he did not stop. He fought like a wall of steel. Behind him came Elijah, fast and fierce. He moved through the chaos, knocking down every enemy in his path. Natalie used her last charges to blow open the enemy's supply line. She ran through fire to finish the job. Her hands were burned, but she smiled as the flames took the enemy trucks. Dana stayed high. She watched Lily's path and cleared it shot by shot. Her bullets were the quiet voice of death from above. She saved many lives with every pull of the trigger. In the center of the battle, Queen Mara fought beside her people. Her white dress was now covered in dirt and blood. She swung her blade with focus. She was not trained like the Earth warriors, but her heart burned like fire. Lily reached the enemy leader. He turned to face her, strong and ready. They fought hand to hand. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. He was bigger, but Lily was faster. Her strikes were sharp and clean. She did not back down. With one final move, Lily drove her blade into his chest. He fell to the ground. The enemy saw their leader fall. Their lines broke. They began to retreat. The people of Verelion did not chase. They stood where they were, tired but proud. The battle was over. Verelion was free. The sky over Verelion was quiet. Smoke still rose from the broken streets, but the sound of guns had stopped. The battle was over. People came out from shelters. Some cried. Some stood in silence. Others walked through the ruins, helping the wounded and lifting the fallen. Lily Hart stood at the edge of the city. Her armor was torn, her hands were bruised, but her eyes stayed sharp. She looked across the field where the enemy had fallen. The ground was black from fire, but the sun was rising. Queen Mara walked beside her. She no longer wore a crown. She wore the same clothes as her fighters. She had led her people into war, and now she would lead them into peace. We could not have done this without you, Mara said. Lily shook her head. Your people chose to stand. You only showed them how. In the main square, Ethan Cole stood before a large crowd. The warriors of Earth stood behind him. Marcus held his helmet in one hand. Dana stood with her rifle on her back. Elisha had his arm in a sling, and Natalie leaned on a cane. They were hurt, but they were alive, Ethan spoke. Earth did not send angels. We're not here to save you with wings. We came with steel and fire. We came because you called. And now the world you love still stands. The people listened in silence. Then a cheer rose. It grew louder. Children ran to the warriors. Old men and women placed their hands on their shoulders. Aurelian would never forget this day. Later, inside the palace, Lily placed a small box on a table. Inside it was a beacon. It sent one message into the stars. If you are in danger, and if no one else comes, call Earth. We are not angels, but we will answer. The warriors packed their gear. The vanguard horizon was ready to leave. The people of Aurelian lined the streets. They did not cry. They stood proud. Were no longer waiting for angels. They were now warriors of their own. The ship lifted into the sky. The city below looked small, but strong. Earth had come. Earth had fought. And Earth had left behind more than victory. Earth had left behind hope.